The worst part wasn't signing the loan papers. It was the way my mother's tears seemed so real, glistening under the harsh fluorescent lights of the bank lobby. Looking back now, I wonder how many times she'd practiced that performance in her mirror. My name is Caroline, and 5 years ago I learned that blood isn't always thicker than water. Sometimes it's thicker than ink, the kind you use to sign away your life savings, your future, and your trust in a single stroke. "Sweetheart, we wouldn't ask if it wasn't absolutely necessary," my father said, his hand warm and reassuring on my shoulder. "The business is everything. Your grandfather built it from nothing. This is about family legacy." I shifted uncomfortably in the leather chair, staring at the stack of papers before me. $750,000 was more money than I'd ever seen. I don't understand why the bank needs a co-signer. You've been running the company for decades. "It's just formalities," my sister Sella chimed in, examining her manicure. "God, Caroline, stop being so dramatic. Mum and Dad know what they're doing." Mum dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. "Your father and I have put everything we have into this. We just need a little help to weather this rough patch. Please, Caroline, don't let your grandfather's dream die." The bank manager, Mr. Phillips, cleared his throat. "Take all the time you need to review the documents, Miss Griffin." "She doesn't need time," Seela snapped. "Right, Care?" I picked up the pen. My hand trembled slightly as I signed each page, ignoring the knot in my stomach. Mum's tears dried instantly, and Dad's proud smile felt like sunshine after rain. 2 weeks later, everything collapsed. I was at work when my card was declined buying lunch. Confused, I checked my account on my phone. Frozen. All of them. Frozen. My hands shook as I called the bank. "I'm sorry, Miss Griffin, but there's a freeze on all your accounts due to suspected fraudulent activity and pending bankruptcy proceedings." "Bankruptcy? There must be some mistake. The loan you co-signed has defaulted. Multiple shell corporations linked to Griffin Enterprises have filed for Chapter 7. Given the size of the debt and your status as guarantor..." I stopped listening. The room started spinning. I dialed Mum's number. Disconnected. Dad's phone. Disconnected. Our house line. Disconnected. Salar's Instagram showed she'd been dark for days. Unusual for someone who posted every breakfast smoothie and yoga pose. That evening, I drove to my parents' house in a daze. The driveway was empty, the windows dark. Through the glass, I could see bare walls where family photos had hung for decades. My key still worked. Inside, everything valuable was gone. The antique furniture, Mum's art collection, Dad's vintage wine cellar, even the stupid crystal bird collection my grandmother left me. I wandered room to room like a ghost, my footsteps echoing on hardwood floors that had hosted countless family dinners. In my old bedroom, a single envelope lay centred on the bare mattress. Inside was a postcard. A stunning view of Santorini at sunset, white buildings gleaming against an azure sea. I flipped it over, my fingers numb. "Cheers from paradise." "Enjoy paying. You were always the gullible one, Sella." The pounding on my apartment door started 3 days later. I sat on my kitchen floor, surrounded by final notices and legal documents, reading that postcard for the 100th time. "Miss Griffin, this is Martinez from Collections International. We know you're in there." Another voice joined in. "Miss Griffin, this is the building manager. We need to discuss your lease immediately." I pressed my back against the cabinet, sliding down until I felt the cold tile against my legs. The pounding continued, a rhythm matching my heartbeat. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Griffin Enterprises collapse. Massive fraud investigation launched. The article showed security footage of my parents and Salar boarding a private jet at a small airport 2 weeks ago. Mum wore her favourite Hermes scarf. Dad carried his leather briefcase. Sailor took selfies on the stairs. The pounding grew louder. More voices joined the chorus outside my door. But all I could hear was my father's voice. This is about family legacy. He was right, but not in the way I thought. I looked at the postcard again, at Sella's perfectly looped handwriting. "You were always the gullible one." She was right too. I was gullible. Was. 2 years can change everything. Or nothing. Depends on which side of the bar you're standing. "Another round for table 6, I called out, sliding empty glasses into the dishwasher at the Rusty Anchor. My third job of the day, After morning shifts at the coffee shop and afternoon data entry work, the tips were decent, and drunk people didn't ask questions about why the bartender lived in a studio apartment with a broken heater. "Hey, isn't that your sister?" I froze. Tommy, one of our regulars, was pointing at the TV above the bar. Some celebrity gossip show was running a segment about Europe's most exclusive summer soirees. There was Sella, draped in designer silk, champagne glass in hand, laughing at some Monaco gala. "The Griffins have become fixtures of the Mediterranean social scene," the host chirped. "From yacht parties in Nice to charity galas in Greece." "Turn it off," I snapped, but Tommy was already pulling up something on his phone. "Look at this! They're calling them American royalty in exile. Your parents just bought a villa in—" I slammed a glass down harder than intended. It shattered, sending shards across the counter. Blood welled up from a cut on my palm. "Sorry," Tommy mumbled, suddenly very interested in his beer. In the bathroom, washing the cut, I stared at my reflection. Dark circles under my eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. No designer silk here. Just a uniform that smelled like stale beer and broken dreams. My phone buzzed. Another creditor. They'd found my new number again. I'd gotten good at changing phones, addresses, even my email every few months, but they always found me. Back home that night, I pulled out my laptop, the only valuable thing I'd managed to hide before they seized everything. The screen glowed in my dark apartment as I logged into my latest burner email account. I'd spent the past year learning everything I could about international finance, shell corporations, asset tracking, banking laws. My browser history was a roadmap of obsession: how to trace hidden assets overseas, international fraud investigation techniques, Monaco banking privacy laws. A new email popped up. No subject line. Anonymous sender. "Check the Lawson Holdings shell in Luxembourg. They're sloppy." My heart raced. I'd been posting on financial forums under various aliases, dropping breadcrumbs about the Griffin case. This was the first real lead. My phone rang, the burner I used for my PI work. "Caroline, it's Rodney. Found something interesting in those payroll records you asked about." I grabbed a pen. "Tell me." "Your sister's been busy. Found her signature on incorporation papers for 3 new companies in Cyprus. All linked to accounts under various aliases, but get this, they all use variations of your social security number." My hand tightened around the pen until it cracked. "They're still using my identity?" "Looks like it. But they slipped up. One of the transfer dates matches that Monaco gala from the society pages. Places her exactly where. A loud bang on my door made me jump. "Miss Griffin! Rent's 2 weeks late!" "I'll call you back," I whispered to Rodney. "Rent's on the table!" I shouted at the door. "Check your mail tomorrow." I looked at my bank balance. $127, 40 thrills. Not enough for rent. Not enough for anything. But on my laptop screen, that anonymous email glowed like a beacon. Lawson Holdings. Luxembourg. Sloppy. I opened a new document and started typing. 2 years of research, connections, patterns, every Instagram post, every society page mention, every shell company name. My family had taken everything from me, but they'd forgotten one thing. I had nothing left to lose, and nothing but time to plan. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a news alert. Bridget Griffin hosts exclusive art gala for European elite. There was Mom, elegant as ever, champagne in hand. Dad beside her, silver hair catching the Mediterranean sun, and Sella, holding court among admirers, wearing a necklace that looked suspiciously like grandmother's antique sapphires. I clicked back to my document, added another note. Art gala. Potential money laundering front. The landlord banged on my door again. "Final warning, Griffin!" I ignored him, fingers flying across the keyboard. Let him bang. Let the creditors call. Let my family post their perfect lives all over social media. They thought they buried me. They didn't realise they'd planted a seed. The anonymous email still glowed on my screen. Someone out there knew something. Someone wanted to help. I cracked my knuckles and opened a new search window. Lawson Holdings plus Luxembourg plus financial records. Time to get sloppy. Jennifer's office looked exactly like I expected. Sleek, modern, expensive, everything I used to have. She stood when I entered, her designer heels clicking on marble floors. "Caroline," her voice wavered. "My God, I almost didn't recognise you." 2 years of dodging creditors had changed me. No more highlights, no more manicures, but I wasn't here to compare lifestyles. "Thanks for meeting me," I said, taking the seat she offered. "I know it's awkward." Jennifer fidgeted with her watch. "I heard rumours, but I never thought... your parents seemed so... honest, trustworthy." I pulled out a folder. "That's actually why I'm here. You handled some of their European accounts before everything happened." Her face closed off. "Caroline, I can't discuss client information. They're not your clients anymore. And I have questions about certain transfers through Luxembourg, specifically Lawson Holdings." Jennifer's coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. "How do you know about that?" "I have my sources. What I need to know is whether you noticed anything unusual before they left." She set down her cup, hands shaking slightly. "I should have told you. God, I should have said something." "Told me what?" "Told me. The shell corporations. The way money moved between accounts. It wasn't normal. Your father always had explanations, but..." She pulled out her phone, scrolled through some files. "Here. 3 months before they disappeared, they started moving massive amounts through these holding companies." I leaned forward. "Show me." An hour later, my head was spinning with account numbers and transfer dates. Jennifer had kept meticulous records, probably to protect herself. "There's more," she said quietly. "Sailor came to see me, about a week before everything collapsed. She wanted information about identity protection services, said it was for a client." My stomach turned. She was planning it even then. "Caroline?" Jennifer reached across the desk. "You need to let this go. They're gone. You're destroying yourself." "They destroyed me first." I stood up. "Thanks for the information." Outside, I called Rodney. "Got those surveillance photos from Nice?" "Better. Got video. Your sister's been attending tech conferences under the name Sarah Green. Real social butterfly. Lots of pictures with venture capitalists, startup founders. Perfect marks for investment scams," I muttered. "Send me everything." That night, I spread everything across my apartment floor. Bank statements, photos, conference schedules. A pattern emerged. Seller moving from city to city. Always one step ahead of questions about her last venture. My phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer. "Just saw Seller's latest post. She's speaking at Women in Tech Summit, Lisbon, next week." I opened Instagram. There she was, my sister, now a brunette, posting about empowering female entrepreneurs under her fake name. The comments were full of praise, admiration, heart emojis. If they only knew. Another text from Jennifer. "Please don't do anything crazy. Some things are better left in the past." Easy for her to say. She hadn't lost everything. Hadn't spent 2 years working 3 jobs just to afford the apartment with black mould in the corners. I opened my laptop, checked flight prices to Lisbon, way beyond my budget. But then I saw it. A sponsored link. Tech Summit seeking volunteer staff. Free admission, networking opportunities. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. It was crazy. Dangerous. If Seller recognised me. But she wouldn't. The sister she knew, designer clothes, perfect hair, naive trust, that person didn't exist anymore. I filled out the application. Sarah Green wasn't the only one who could play pretend. My phone rang. Rodney again. "Caroline, got something weird. Someone's been accessing those Luxembourg records we tracked. Not your family, someone else." "Could be journalists," I said. "The case made headlines." "No, this is different. Professional. Like they're building their own investigation." I thought about the anonymous email. Lawson Holdings. They're sloppy. "Keep monitoring," I told him. "And Rodney, book me a ticket to Lisbon. Cheapest flight you can find." "You sure about this?" I looked at Seller's Instagram again. She was posting about authentic leadership and transparent business practices. "Yeah," I said. "I'm sure." After hanging up, I caught my reflection in the window. Dark circles, worn clothes, hard eyes. Perfect. No one looks too closely at invisible people. I opened my closet, pulled out the one nice outfit I had left. Simple black dress, sensible heels, conference volunteer attire. "See you soon, sis," I whispered to Sella's smiling photo. "Can't wait to hear all about authentic leadership." "Name tag, please." The conference coordinator handed me a plastic badge. Kate Matthews, event staff. My new identity, courtesy of Rodney's connections. The Lisbon Tech Summit buzzed with energy. Startup founders pitched their dreams to venture capitalists. Influencers posed for photos. And there, holding court by the coffee station, stood my sister. "Sarah's keynote is going to be amazing," a young intern gushed, organising welcome packets beside me. "Did you read her profile in Tech Weekly?" I nodded, keeping my head down. Selah, now Sarah, laughed at something, tossing her newly dark hair. Same theatrical laugh, different audience. "Kate," another coordinator approached. "We need help setting up the financial ethics workshop. Room 204. I followed her upstairs, carrying a box of materials. A man in a charcoal suit was arranging presentation slides. "Just set those anywhere," he said without looking up. "I'm running late on these projections about shell company detection." I froze. On his laptop screen were familiar diagrams, exactly the kind I'd been studying for months. He finally looked up. "I'm Miguel, by the way, leading the workshop on forensic accounting and ethical finance." "Kate," I managed, "event staff." "Perfect. Maybe you can help me test something." He pulled up a slide. "If you were trying to hide money internationally, would this structure look suspicious to you?" The diagram showed exactly how my family had moved funds through Luxembourg. My hands started shaking. "I wouldn't know anything about that." "No?" He studied me carefully. "You seem pretty interested in that slide." Before I could respond, voices approached. Sellers' laugh echoed down the hallway. I quickly turned away, pretending to organise papers. "Sarah! Just who I needed to see!" Miguel called out. My sister swept in, all designer perfume and practiced charm. "Miguel, darling, your workshop is the talk of the conference." She air-kissed his cheeks, not even glancing at me. "Though I worry it might scare away potential investors." "That's rather the point," he said dryly. "To scare away the fraudulent ones." Sellers' laugh turned brittle. "Always so serious. You must come to my villa for drinks later. I'm hosting a little gathering. Unfortunately, I have other commitments." Miguel's tone was polite but firm. "Kate, could you help me with these handouts?" I nodded, still not turning around. Selah finally left, her heels clicking away down the hall. "Interesting woman," Miguel said quietly. "Though I noticed you couldn't look at her." My heart stopped. "What?" "Just like you couldn't look at that diagram. The one showing exactly how the Griffin family laundered money through European banks." I backed toward the door. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Caroline," he said softly, "I know who you are." The room spun. "How?" "I've been tracking your family's case for months. When I saw the volunteer application from Kate Matthews, with a background surprisingly perfect for someone seeking access to tech investors," he shrugged. "I connected the dots." "Are you going to tell her?" "No." He closed his laptop. "But I am going to ask why you're here." "Would you believe I'm just interested in tech startups?" "About as much as I believe Sarah Green is your sister's real name." I studied him. "You said you've been tracking their case. Why?" "I specialise in exposing financial fraud. Your family's scheme was impressive, but they left traces. The Lawson Holdings connection, for example." "You sent that email?" He nodded. "I needed to know if you were involved or a victim. Now I know." "So what now? You'll report me?" "Now," he said, "I think we should talk about how your sister's been approaching venture capitalists with a very familiar-looking investment structure." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from Rodney. "Urgent. Someone broke into your apartment. Files copied. Get out now." "I have to go," I said, heading for the door. "Caroline, wait." Miguel handed me a card. "If you need help, well, let's just say we might have aligned interests." I hurried back to my hotel, heart pounding. The door was slightly ajar. Inside, drawers were open, papers scattered. My laptop was still there, but someone had definitely accessed it. On the bed lay a single photo. My parents' old house, before they disappeared. Written on the back in familiar handwriting, "Careful, sis. You're not the only one who can play pretend." I grabbed my phone, stared at Miguel's card. Could I trust him? Could I trust anyone? A notification popped up, seller's latest Instagram post. She was announcing a private investment seminar tomorrow night. Exclusive guest list only. I dialed Miguel's number. That help you offered? I'm in. Someone tipped them off! Rodney's voice crackled through my burner phone. Your family knows they're being watched, and Caroline... I think it was Jennifer. I sat in Miguel's temporary office at the conference centre, my hands gripping the armrests. How sure are you? She made 3 calls to a Cypriot number right after your meeting. Same prefix as your sister's known burner phones. Miguel looked up from his laptop. We need to move faster. Your sister's investment seminar tonight. It's not just a seminar. What do you mean? He turned his screen toward me. She's gathering potential marks. Wealthy tech entrepreneurs looking to optimise their international tax structure. Sound familiar? It did. Too familiar. A memory hit me like a punch to the gut. Caroline? Miguel noticed my expression change. My college scholarship, I said quietly. Senior year. I was supposed to get a full ride to Harvard Business School, but the acceptance and the scholarship offer, they never came. Seller told me I wasn't good enough. I pulled out my phone, fingers shaking as I typed. But look at this! Her LinkedIn profile from back then. She did an internship in the university's admissions office that semester. Miguel's eyes widened. You think she... I know she did. She's been sabotaging me my whole life. The scholarship was just the beginning. My phone buzzed. Rodney again. Found something else? Documents with your signature, approving offshore accounts. Except the dates. The dates what? They're from after your family disappeared. They've been forging your signature, using your identity to open new accounts. The room started spinning. Miguel grabbed my arm, steadying me. Caroline, breathe. We can use this. How? They'll just disappear again. Move the money. Change names. Not if we can prove the identity theft. That's federal crime territory, international jurisdiction. A knock at the door made us both jump. A conference volunteer poked her head in. Mr. Lawson, Sarah Green asked me to deliver this personally. She handed Miguel an elegant envelope. Inside was an invitation to tonight's seminar. And a note. Bring your mysterious assistant. Kate, is it? We should chat about ethical finance. My blood ran cold. She knows. Good, Miguel said, surprising me. Let's use that. Are you crazy? She'll expose me. Not if we expose her first. He pulled up something on his laptop. Look at this. Every transaction through Lawson Holdings had a digital signature. Your sister got sloppy, used the same password pattern for everything. So, I've been tracking her real-time activities. Right now, she's setting up new accounts using your identity again. I leaned forward. Can you get in? Already am, but Caroline... He turned to face me. If we do this, there's no going back. Your whole family goes down. Hard. They stopped being my family the day they stole my life. Miguel nodded, started typing. The seminar's in 3 hours. Wear something expensive. I'll have something sent up. Play it cool. Let her think she's in control. I stood up, straightening my shoulders. I learned from the best manipulators in the business. One more thing. He handed me a small device. Recording pen. Everything she says we'll have on record. Back in my hotel room, I found a designer dress waiting. Black, elegant, perfect for a predator. As I got ready, another memory surfaced. Seller, age 16, telling my first boyfriend I was cheating on him. Me crying alone at prom. Her wearing my dress, dancing with him. My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Looking forward to catching up, sis. Hope you're better at hiding things than Mum and Dad were. Their safe was so easy to crack. I stared at my reflection. The woman looking back wasn't the naive girl who signed those loan papers. She wasn't the broken bartender drowning in debt. She was something new, something dangerous. Another text from Miguel. Ready? I picked up the recording pen, tucked it into my clutch. Born ready. The elevator doors opened to the hotel's rooftop terrace. Seller stood at the centre of a crowd, champagne in hand. Our eyes met across the space. Kate, she called out, using my fake name like a weapon. Or should I say, Sarah? I cut her off, matching her fake warmth. That article about you in Tech Weekly was fascinating, especially the part about your background in, what was it, financial restructuring. Her smile flickered. just slightly. But I saw it. Game on, sis. Such an interesting investment strategy, I said, swirling my champagne. Moving funds through multiple jurisdictions to optimize tax efficiency. Almost reminds me of a case I studied. Family disappeared with millions, left their daughter holding the bag. Seller's perfectly manicured nails tightened around her glass. Fascinating. But my investors prefer to discuss future opportunities, not cautionary tales. The rooftop terrace buzzed with wealthy marks, all eager to hear about Sarah Green's revolutionary investment scheme. Miguel worked the crowd nearby, recording every conversation. My phone vibrated. A message from Rodney. She's booking flights. Nice. Tomorrow morning. Parents already there. Excuse me, Seller said to her admirers. Kate, a word. She grabbed my arm, steering me toward a quiet corner. What's your game? Game? I'm just an eager student of financial innovation. Isn't that what you're selling? Drop the act. How much? How much what? To walk away. Name your price. She pulled out her phone. I can transfer it now. I laughed. Still using my social security number to open those accounts, sis. Her face went white. Behind her, I saw Miguel giving me a subtle nod. The recordings were done. You have no idea what you're doing, Seller hissed. Mom and Dad are waiting in Nice. I know. 5-star hotel, probably. Dad's still drinking that overpriced Bordeaux. She stepped closer. You think you're so clever? The prodigal daughter, back for revenge? But you forgot something. We're better at this game. Are you? Because that password you use for everything. Mom's birthday backwards plus your first pet's name. Pretty basic. Her composure cracked. She grabbed her phone, fingers flying over the keys. My phone buzzed again. Rodney. Money's moving. All accounts, they're running. Too late, I said softly. Check your accounts. She did. Her face went from white to grey. What did you do? Me. Nothing. But it looks like all those accounts you opened in my name just got flagged for suspicious activity. Weird, right? You little? Miss Green? A man in a suit appeared. Sorry to interrupt, but there seemed to be some irregularities with the investment prospectus you provided. Not now, she snapped. I'm afraid this can't wait. He showed his badge. Financial Crimes Unit, we have some questions about certain offshore transactions. Seller's mask finally shattered. This isn't over, she snarled at me, then turned to run. She made it 3 steps before running straight into Tyrese Wade from Interpol. Sarah Green? He smiled. Or should I say, Seller? We've been expecting you to try leaving the country. The rooftop erupted in chaos. Investors backed away as more agents appeared. Phones came out, recording everything. You've ruined everything, Seller spat as they cuffed her. No, that was you. All of you. I just finished what you started. Miguel appeared at my side. Your parents' hotel in Nice is being raided right now. They found everything. Documents, accounts, even your grandmother's jewellery. I watched as they led my sister away. She looked smaller somehow, less shiny. Just a con artist in a designer dress. My phone rang. A familiar number. Mum. How could you? She sobbed when I answered. We're your family. In the background, I heard Dad arguing with someone, probably law enforcement. Family? I said quietly. Family doesn't steal futures, doesn't forge signatures, doesn't laugh while their daughter drowns in debt. We gave you everything. No, Mom, you took everything. And now I'm taking it back. I hung up as Miguel touched my arm. Caroline, there's something else. Your apartment back home, they sent people to destroy evidence. If you'd been there... The reality of what my family had become hit me like a wave. They wouldn't just have destroyed evidence. It's done, I said, more to myself than Miguel. It's finally done. Almost, he corrected. The hard part's coming. Trials, testimony, media. Will you... I hesitated. Will you help me? He squeezed my hand. Every step. Below us, police lights flashed as they loaded Seller into a car. My phone buzzed one last time. Tyrese. Parents in custody, all accounts frozen. Need you in Nice tomorrow to identify assets. I looked out over Lisbon's twinkling lights. Somewhere in Nice, my parents were facing their first night without power, without control. Ready to go? Miguel asked. I took one last look at the chaos I'd created, at the life I'd just destroyed and the truth I'd exposed. Yeah, I said. I'm ready. The recording pen in my clutch held enough evidence to bury them all. But somehow, that wasn't even the best part. The best part was the look on Sella's face when she realised I wasn't the gullible one anymore. The Nice villa was exactly as ostentatious as I expected. Marble fountains, manicured gardens, and a view of the Mediterranean that probably cost more than my entire life's earnings. Ready? Tyrese asked, adjusting his earpiece. I smoothed my dress, another loan from Miguel's evidence budget. They're all inside. Your father's hosting what he thinks is a private investor meeting. Your mother's playing hostess. Sella was supposed to join them today with the new marks from Lisbon. Instead, she's in a holding cell, Miguel added, checking his tablet. Singing like a bird, apparently. I touched the microphone hidden in my necklace. Let's finish this. The villa's front door opened to a burst of laughter and classical music. Mum's signature party soundtrack, Mozart for sophisticated gatherings, she always said. Kate! Dad's voice boomed across the marble foyer. Sarah said you'd be joining us. Welcome. He looked exactly the same. Same expensive suit, same practiced smile, same predatory eyes. He didn't recognise me. Wallace, Mum floated down the stairs in a silk caftan. Darling, pour our new friend some champagne. Actually, I said, taking off my sunglasses, I don't drink champagne anymore. Had to give up expensive tastes when I was paying off someone else's debts. The crystal glass slipped from Mum's fingers, shattering on the marble floor. Caroline? Hi, Mum. Dad. Nice place. I especially like Grandmother's paintings in the hall, the ones you stole from my apartment. Dad's smile turned cold. Security! They're a bit busy, Miguel said, entering behind me. Something about Interpol in the guardhouse. Mum backed up the stairs. Wallace, do something! Oh, he can't, I said, walking further into their stolen paradise. See those investors in your living room? They're all agents, have been for weeks. We've recorded every pitch, every lie, every scheme. You ungrateful little... Dad lunged forward, but Tyrese and his team burst in, weapons drawn. Wallace and Bridget Griffin, Tyrese announced. You're under arrest for international fraud, money laundering, identity theft. You can't prove anything, Dad snarled as they cuffed him. I pulled out my phone, played a recording. Dad's voice, clear as day, explaining to potential investors how to hide money using stolen identities. My identity. That's just the appetizer, Miguel said. Wait until you see what your daughter Selah gave us. She flipped surprisingly fast. Mum started crying. Real tears this time, not the performative ones she'd used to convince me to sign those loans. Caroline, please, she begged. We're your parents. We loved you. Loved me? You destroyed me. Left me with nothing. Laughed while I worked 3 jobs just to afford food. I stepped closer. But you taught me something valuable. Trust should be earned, not given, even with family. You were always the weak one, Dad spat as they led him away. The disappointment. No, Dad. I was the smart one. Smart enough to track every account, every transfer, every lie. Smart enough to get close to Selah without her recognising me. Smart enough to take you all down. Outside, reporters had gathered. Camera flashes lit up the Mediterranean twilight. Miss Griffin, they called out. Did you really spend 2 years planning this? Is it true your sister confessed everything? How much money did they steal? I ignored them all, watching as police led my parents to separate cars. Mum was still crying. Dad was already talking to his lawyer. You okay? Miguel asked softly. I thought I'd feel different, I admitted. More satisfied. Justice usually feels messier than we expect. My phone buzzed. A message from the holding facility in Lisbon. Selah wanted to talk. Don't, Miguel warned. She'll just try and manipulate you again. I know. I deleted the message without reading it. Some bridges need to stay burned. Tyrese approached with a thick envelope. Preliminary asset seizure papers. They had accounts we didn't even know about. Once everything's processed, restitution payments will start. Keep it, I said. Use it for other victims of financial fraud. Caroline, Miguel started. I don't want their money. I just wanted them stopped. The Mediterranean sunset painted the sky in shades of orange and pink. In another life, this could have been a family vacation villa. In another life, we could have been happy here. But that life was a lie, just like everything else they built. Ready to go home? Miguel asked. I watched the police cars drive away, carrying the last pieces of my old life with them. Yeah, I said. But first, I want to see what's in their safe. Because some things, like my grandmother's letters, my college acceptance, my original birth certificate, those weren't about money. Those were about truth. And I'd earned every piece of it. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters as the verdict came down. I sat in the back row, watching my family's faces as the judge read out their sentences. Dad, 18 years. Mum, 15. Selah, 12, reduced for cooperation. None of them looked at me as they were led away. I didn't expect them to. Miss Griffin? A court clerk handed me a box. Personal effects from the villa safe, as requested. Inside, beneath old photos and jewellery, I found it. My Harvard acceptance letter. Full scholarship. Dated the same week Selah worked in admissions. She'd stolen it, just like they'd stolen everything else. You could still go, Miguel said, joining me outside. It's never too late for education. Maybe. I touched the letter's creased edges. But I think I found my calling somewhere else. He smiled. The fraud prevention unit could use someone with your experience. Is that a job offer? More like a partnership proposal. Your insight, my resources. We could help a lot of people. A familiar face caught my eye. Jennifer, hurrying down the courthouse steps. Excuse me, I said to Miguel. Jennifer. She froze. Caroline, I can explain. No need. The prosecutors explained everything. How you helped them hide money, then tipped them off when I came asking questions. They threatened me, she whispered. Said they'd implicate me if I didn't help. And now you're implicated anyway. Funny how karma works. She grabbed my arm. Please. I could lose everything. Like I did? I gently removed her hand. Good luck with your testimony tomorrow. Try telling the truth this time. Back inside, Tyrese was waiting with more files. We found something interesting in your father's records. A pattern of similar scams going back decades. Other families, other victims. How many? Dozens. Most were too ashamed to come forward, but now they have proof. I took the files. Send me their contact information. All of them. What are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time to start a support group and maybe a recovery fund. Miguel appeared with his laptop. Already working on it. The seized assets could help a lot of families rebuild. Speaking of rebuilding, Tyrese handed me another envelope. Your identity theft case is cleared. Credit restored. You're officially free. Free. Such a simple word for such a complicated feeling. Outside, a familiar bar caught my eye across the street, the Rusty Anchor. My old workplace was boarded up now, but the sign still hung crooked over the door. Want to get a drink? Miguel asked. Celebrate? Actually, I want to show you something. We drove to my old apartment building, the one with the broken heater and black mould. My old landlord was evicting another tenant. This is what rock bottom looks like, I said. This is where I lived when I started fighting back. And now? Now I want to buy it, fix it, turn it into transitional housing for fraud victims. Miguel studied me. You're really not going to take any of the recovered money. I told you, I don't want their money. I want to help people they hurt. All of them. My phone buzzed. A text from Selah. I'm sorry for everything, especially Harvard. Delete. Some apologies come too late. You never told me, Miguel said as we walked back to the car. Do you regret any of it? The investigation, the sting, sending your own family to prison? I thought about Mom's tears in the villa. Dad's snarl as they took him away. Selah's face when she realised her own sister had outsmarted her. No, I said finally. But I wish I'd never had to. He took my hand. So what now? Now? I pulled out the files Tyrese gave me. We have work to do, other families to help, other scammers to catch. We? Unless you've changed your mind about that partnership. His answer was a kiss, soft, quick, full of promise. My phone buzzed again. Another victim reaching out, another story of betrayal and loss, another chance to make things right. I looked at the Harvard letter one last time, then tore it up. That dream belonged to a different Caroline. A naive one who believed in family above all else. This Caroline believed in justice, in consequences, in turning pain into purpose. Ready? Miguel asked. I let the torn pieces of the letter flutter away in the breeze. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting better. Ready, I said. And for the first time in years, I truly was.